spotlight, we have the Jackson City Attorney, Matthew Hagerty. Hi, Matthew.
How you doing, Bart? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, welcome to the show.
Appreciate it. It's been a long time coming.
Yeah, it has. How long have you been in the position of city attorney?
This is my 4th calendar year. I was hired in November of 2019, started January 2nd of 2020.
So just 3 months into your term, COVID hit.
It did indeed. It was kind of a drinking out of a fire hose start to my tenure because, of course, everything shut down about 75 days into my tenure. Remote meetings and city council meetings from my home office, and that was quite the learning curve. And new city manager in that about a month before that, so a lot of change and things to get used to, certainly.
Yeah. So coming from a private practice where you represented dozens of clients,
Sure.
to a single client, a big adjustment?
It was a big adjustment, but I think positive in some regards, because in private practice, as you mentioned, you've got maybe 20 or more clients, all of whom have the most important problem in the world they want you to solve for them. And so having one client with 20 problems, I think I enjoy that better because you have a principal and primary focus every single day, which is just doing the best job you can for the city and all the departments I represent. So it was an adjustment, but a positive one.
And you don't have to keep track of billable hours.
That is certainly an advantage. Lawyers in private practice will tell you they live in 6-minute increments. Everything is 0.1, and timesheets and billable hours are the bane of many a lawyer's existence, certainly.
So some municipalities don't have an attorney, and even some townships, they'll have someone that's on retainer that they just use as needed. What is it about the city of Jackson that we have a legal department and a city attorney?
That's a great question. I think part of it is how our charter is set up. In other municipalities, Midland's a good example, that are the size of Jackson, that have an appointed official who's the city attorney, historically has always been in-house. And I think just from my vantage point, from the outside looking in, it makes it so much easier to interact and do the work of the city every day when you see the goings on from every single department. Because if you're in private practice, you may have other clients whose needs need to be attended to, and you're not principally focused on city business. So the unique advantage for me is that it's 100% city all the time, whether it's the civil litigation, city prosecutions, all the administrative things, all the city council meetings. So we're sort of a one-stop shop for all those areas and all the departments we serve.
So if the police department arrests and charges someone and then that goes to trial, is that your department?
So long as it is a violation of the city code of ordinances and up to a 93-day misdemeanor. So anything in the felony realm gets handled by the county prosecutor's office, but if it's a city ordinance or misdemeanor, it is handled by my office.
So I've had experience with you being on the DDA. I know we've talked, you've helped the DDA on things, and JTV has a contract with the city, so we've worked on that. So yeah. Contracts, that sounds like it's probably a big part of your...
Yeah, contract law. My background in private practice was a lot of real estate, land use, zoning, and so a lot of the stuff we run into, whether it's negotiating contracts, whether it's dealing with private sector businesses and business redevelopment, I think was a great background in a foray back into municipal practice full time.
Even though you have one client, the city, you've got, the rec department, that's, one area of expertise that you have to have. You've got zoning, you've got rental properties. There's a lot of different, the city's got its fingers on a lot of things.
They really do, and so it is kind of like you're a jack of all trades and a Swiss Army knife, in a manner of speaking, with regard to the number of different areas of the law that you'll deal with, because community development, housing, code enforcement, tax law, of course, with the city assessor, we sort of work hand in hand with tax appeals, administrative law, dealing with things with the city manager. So yeah, legislative initiatives, there's a lot of things to keep track of, but it's never dull, Bart.
Yeah, so we've had, well, we've changed it. We're changing the elections we're moving to even numbered years.
We are indeed.
So
Council
that's-
just passed that resolution, as a matter of fact.
So when, do you write the resolutions?
I did. I worked with our city clerk, Andrea Murray, and drafted the resolution, which by statute has to be done and then sent to the Secretary of State for certification and placed on file. And so I'll do a lot of that ordinance drafting, the resolutions for those legislative priorities that the council adopts. It's kind of my job in the background to draft those documents behind the scenes.
And at the city council meeting, during public comment, every once in a while, someone comes up to the podium and says, "I'm going to sue this city." That probably concerns you.
You know, it yes and no. The bully pulpit and the First Amendment rights at the call to the public are just like any other public venue, and people are free to say or express any opinion within the bounds of our rules. But certainly, I have a pulse on what's going on in the city. So any litigation threats or anything like that, we handle in due course and do so very responsibly.
Yeah, but the city's a big employer, so you deal with HR law.
Yeah, HR is another department that we work quite extensively with several hundred employees in the city, certainly.
I understand you come from a family of attorneys.
I do. Both my father and his identical twin brother, my uncle, are both now retired, but longtime real estate lawyers. I have a brother and sister-in-law who are both attorneys. My aunt is also a lawyer. So lots of lawyers on my side of the family, a lot of school teachers on my wife's side of the family. So we call it LT and TT, lawyer talk and teacher talk at family gatherings. It's like we're speaking different languages, but we all get along very well.
So when you were a kid, because your dad and your uncle were lawyers, is that something you thought you wanted to be?
I think so. I always had an inclination to do it, and I'm a double Spartan. I went to Michigan State for undergrad and for law school. I'm the oldest of four. My three siblings are all MSU grads. And so I think probably in high school, I told myself it's an area I think I'd want to pursue. And once I enrolled at MSU Law School some 20 years ago, 23 years ago now, when I first started, I haven't looked back since.
Cool. So you told us a little bit about your dad and his brother. What about your immediate family? Yeah,
so my wife most recently taught in Brighton schools. She's a stay-at-home mom right now, but looking to go back when our kids get a little bit older. And I have three wonderful kids, sixth grader, Alex, my ninth grader, Andrew, and my oldest, Madeline, is in 11th grade, all doing very well, and proud of them. And hopefully maybe they decide to go into law. Maybe they become teachers. Who knows?
Cool. Now, with three kids in school, you're probably pretty busy, but outside of work, what are some of the things you like to do?
I've done some adventure races, kind of those fun runs. I'm an avid runner. My dad was a marathoner, so I haven't done the long distance runs like he has, but I enjoy getting out and exercising, enjoying nature. Actually, during the lunch, when the weather's nicer, I like to go to L. Sharp Park or head over to the Cascades and get some fresh air and just be outside and active and spend a lot of time with my kids. They participate in a lot of sports, cross country and track, so go to those meets outside and just hang out with the fam and just keep a healthy balance between work and home and like everybody tries to do.
Nice. Well, Matt told us he hopes to have his whole career, the rest of his whole career here in the city of Jackson. I think at school, I know Jonathan Green feels the same way, and we've got quite a few city staff a long time that they love it here and they want to stay here. So that's good news.
Absolutely. It's been a wonderful 3+ years. I can't say enough great things about Jonathan, the rest of the city staff I work with every single day. It really is a pleasure to come to work and work for the city.
Cool. Thanks for being with us here today, Matt.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me,
You
Bart.
bet. It's our City of Jackson Staff Spotlight with Jackson City Attorney Matt Hagerty.